Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. I hope you've had a good week so far. Today we have a guest, but they're not here in the studio once again. They are coming all the way from Australia. Yes, Chris Adamo. Hello. Thank you so much
Greg,
for joining us.
Thank you for having me, my friend. It's so nice to see you.
It's nice
even
to
though
see
we're
you.
12 hours apart, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've just got in, and we'll be going to bed pretty soon, I'm guessing. So
100%.
But
100%. When you get that globe out, there's pretty much you draw a straight line through England and Australia, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's great technology, and you know, this virus has forced us to do things in a certain way, and we could have done this any time over the last however many months, years that we've known each other, but we've just not. So it's sort of forcing us to take action and do things. Exactly.
But it's an absolute honour, Greg. I love the show. Always watch it all the time, and you know, to be there with you in Southampton last year was a great honour. And thanks for having me back.
Hey, no, it's a pleasure. Thanks for doing it, particularly at 10 o'clock at night. So, I'd like to talk to you first of all about how things have been for you over the last 7 months or so, 7-8 months, and dealing with COVID. Obviously, it's very, I guess the timing of how things have happened in Australia would have been different to here because the seasons being the opposite to when ours are and all of that. So I'd be interested to know how it's been for you, if it's been difficult, if it's just been really easy, and then you're going to show us some things that have actually helped you and you've developed and you've learned about over those last 7-8 months. So
100%. Yeah, really excited. We've got 4 specific different functions that we have introduced with COVID, which are sort of behind the scenes business admin little tools that are free and ready and available, and really looking forward to sharing those. But to your first question, look, I think COVID's hit us all very differently. My business being both retail and corporate events, but we also had that arm of gifts, which has really helped pull us through. So it was quite diverse to begin with. We were pretty mobile and fluid in the early stages, where we had a lot of a casualised workforce, and we just sort of cut down as many shifts as we could. We couldn't really trade at all, as most of us couldn't. I like to say we just tried to survive by the smell of an oily rag, and just work down our stock and just slow it all down. So Australia, though, we were quite lucky that we're an island and we could close the borders and contain it. So I think my story is a little bit more positive from an economic perspective, but I think there's a lot of similarities between the use of the time that we had and the way that we transitioned our business to something that just followed the money, essentially, followed the demand. And I always there's a story from the Great Depression from some of those New York makeup companies that when you look back on it, who thrived during the Great Depression because they were an industry that it wasn't real estate. They weren't big luxurious cars that people can't afford. It was something little that everyone still had a little bit of money and they could buy themselves something nice. And I see balloons really quite resilient to hardships and downturns, like we had the GFC and other downturns. I've been in business nearly 20 years, and like yourself, we see those waves, and I think we need to pinch ourselves that we're in an industry that can turn on a dime and react. The products that we sell are both, marketing. We've done a lot of work for big telcos around Australia recently. Car dealerships in Australia are doing quite well. They're still selling. The big corporate events were the first thing to go, and we haven't seen them come back at all. But being retail, small little things, double the amount of walk-in customers once we could open our doors again.
Wow.
Because they can do something small and at home, and the budgets are low, so they'll come in. But the real sort of gem here has been gifts, delivered gifts. So in Australia, very early on, we were allowed to deliver as a business. Different categories of businesses could continue to trade, and provided it was, COVID safe. So we were sanitizing all the time, and we were dropping off at the door and ringing them so they would come and collect. And in fact, there was a few quarantine houses where people had to quarantine for 14 days, and your dad would scream out the window, "Oh, look, daughter, we've got it," and then the daughter would come out there, and mum would, "What's going on?" And you see all these windows and these people, and it was so cute to be able to bring some happiness to these houses.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think many people share that story. And to those who haven't yet, who are still sitting there waiting, I think this is the time to diversify.
Yeah.
Don't just stick to the thing that has worked for you ever since. If it's not working now, hopefully through this story and what we're going to show you, and many others that you'll see on social media and whatever, there are business models out there within our industry using the same product, just in a different way.
I think that's a really important message, is that we can, the word that's been used over here a lot is pivot. We, as an industry, as you say, the product is so, it's so diverse. You can use it in so many different ways. People can just pivot. So instead of being decorating, okay, you've got to move to deliveries, but it doesn't have to be a single balloon on a string, and I'm sure yours haven't been a single balloon on a string. They can be something spectacular that, as you say, you can leave at the front door, give them a call, and I think there's been a lot of that over here. And I do love the fact about our industry is that people do pivot, people can change very, very quickly. And I guess the majority of our industry is relatively small businesses, which allows us to do that. Whereas you've got a big corporate, for them to change, like a juggernaut, just like an oil tanker, it's just really hard to make changes. Whereas we can all just, okay, we're going to make this change, boom, it's done. So, but you've got to do that.
But you have to have the mindset for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand it's scary. And a lot of people as well are sometimes too proud as well in our industry, who maybe you got into balloons in the last few years. All you've done is big corporate organics. And a lot of people have that story where they've come in and it's very high end and beautiful and pretty. And, I think I'm the best example where I actually really enjoy delivering a small something to that little kid in hospital or whatever. That gives me more satisfaction sometimes than the big end of town just spending thousands because they've got loose change from their big corporate whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you've been worried about it, it's just time to think otherwise, because it's a wonderful section of our industry that a lot of newbies haven't quite discovered.
Yeah.
It used to be the only way to make money, wasn't it? Columns and bouquets.
Yeah. But times have changed. So in essence, it's been not too bad for you.
Well, we sold a van. Like I said, and in Australia we got JobKeeper, so very similar to furlough. What do you guys call it?
Yeah, I call it a furlough scheme. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're so lucky to live in countries that could offer that, and I completely understand many of your listeners, might not be so lucky. So we pinch ourselves over here daily, and we don't take it for granted. And make sure I've been working 40 to 50-hour weeks every week, and because this time is actually a gift. And some of the things I was showing you is what we've used, what we spent our time on, and we might not ever have it back, after nearly 20 years of just day to day on the grind. And it's changed in the last few weeks. I'm back on the road a lot. But after so much time with all these ideas, I had a little bit of time off. We just relaxed a little bit and got making our sourdough and upgraded the kids' playground because we're stuck here for weeks.
Cool.
But we need to consider this time a gift. And if you don't know what to do with it, then start asking around what other people have done. There's wonderful books on business and marketing and all that kind of stuff. Separate to what we're talking about today, I'm setting up email marketing automation, and I'm learning how to do all of that myself. So algorithmic-based automated email triggers for our customers. So just say, 11 months after you ordered that happy birthday bouquet, it'll say, hey, in 4 weeks' time, it's so-and-so's birthday again. Here's what you ordered. Here's some similar things. Click one button to reorder, right? How good would that be? So I'm learning how to just sort of retooling myself. But there's so many wonderful things like that you can find at your comfort level from an IT perspective, whether it be just new balloon bouquets and rehashing your website. So should we begin?
Yeah, please, let's do that. So what's the first thing you're showing us?
Well, we're going to do a bit of screen sharing, and so you'll all need to bear with me here. Let's start her off. So what I have here is Google Maps. Okay?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Let me actually just start a new one, so it's a bit easier. One thing that we started to do as we got lots and lots of gifts was I noticed that the old method that we use for working out a delivery run wasn't necessarily the smartest way. So I started looking at different apps that we could buy or lease, and that would create an automated delivery run. So we'll type in the where we're going, blah, blah, blah. And you can get them from about $20 to $50 a month as a subscription service. But I just found by trial and error, it wasn't as efficient as just human decision making. Okay. So what can we use to support our decision making? And Google Maps, that everybody knows, you can drag around and type in the places that you want to go, like Sydney Harbour Bridge, right? And it'll tell you, okay, that's where it is. Yeah. And then you can click on directions. So in this little tab here, the starting point can be the Balloon Crew, and all of a sudden we have 2 points on our map. Yeah. So as you know, I'm sure it's very obvious stuff, but you can keep adding stuff like, the Sydney Airport, just to pick some landmark obvious destinations. And so we were getting 17 gifts, a day for our area. And you can waste a lot of time if you do it in the wrong order. Yeah. So all of a sudden I've typed in 4 destinations, and we can even add our return destination. And now, because I'm a very visual person, so now I can see, well, look at this squiggly line here. Okay. Yeah. So maybe we go first to, the Harbour Bridge, then we go to Bondi, and now we've got a loop already, as you can see. And as we change things up just by drag and dropping, you'll see the time at 1 hour 33. Yeah. So whatever it may be. So once again, just by quickly moving things around, and we can add up to 20 or so destinations. Yeah. And ETA is quite accurate, right now accurate by using today's traffic. So if I load this tomorrow, then peak hour, it'll be a different time. So we then use this information and paste it actually into an Excel spreadsheet in Google Drive. Yeah. So we might say this is the run. So the bridge, Bondi Beach, blah blah blah. We'll put all that paperwork in a folder, ready to go for that person. We'll have another driver come in and they might do this, and this, and we can move it around. So the real advantage of this that I didn't quite realize until COVID is that you can send directions to a phone or an email address by that button, or you can even click on details and click share, and it'll create a link. So you can email that. So if I close that down and load tomorrow by that link, it'll load that full complete map. So we will create delivery runs for Saturday today, perhaps, for Sunday and Friday, just so when a customer calls, we'll have each delivery run predefined. And so someone can call and say, can you fit this in? And we just quickly look at this and type it in. Yeah, we can fit it in because we're going here, here, and here. The other thing on our spreadsheet is based on the run, we type in how full our van will get based on the volume of an 11-inch balloon. Okay. So Excel spreadsheet's one thing, but this Google Map tool is so good. We can flick it to our driver via SMS. Yeah. It's fantastic. As they're driving, and so we've set up cradles, and everyone's using their smartphones, and it's just, honestly, I can't. It sounds so simple, and even describing it to you now sounds so simple.
It does, I have to say.
But I'm like, I love tech, and I've used Google Maps a million times. But since I've realized you can share it and save it, it changed. Yeah. And if someone told me that a year ago, I would have saved hundreds of hours. And I've been using Google Maps for, since it came out 10 years ago, whatever. Yeah. So
how many hours do you think you've saved? How many hours in an average week do you think you're saving using this?
It's so hard to tell. The other thing, Greg, is we were using our navigation, the GPS with it that came in the van, and the older vans we had the separate one on the dash, on the suction cup and the glass. So you'd do a delivery run. One person would create it, and then the driver, here's your run, do it in this order, and then they'd get in the car and they'd flip through the paperwork, and they don't. We've already used Google Maps perhaps or our own intuition and knowledge to create that run. But now this third-party casual staff is now recalculating in their head. And they have to type it in using the one button like finger per time, and you can't type it when you're driving, of course. So they've got to sit there and wait outside for 10 minutes typing in suburb after suburb, and they might get it wrong. What if they want to change things around? What if the constant variable that we have in our shop is we'd call up and say, where are you? And say, I'm here. I'm like, okay, there's a really good Thai place. 5 minutes there, we're all hungry. I want you to stop there and pick up some lunch, right? So that's what we call a variable in the balloon shop. And so now all of a sudden they're going to reroute, and we can actually reroute it for them.
Oh, wow.
And send them the updated delivery run. So you got 10 minutes to get there. We've already ordered.
That's amazing, because I've been using Google Maps the same as you for years and years and years. But even just what you just showed me there on the screen, and just moving the points up and down, and then it changes the time. I've never done that. I normally use it for going from A to B, and I've never really thought about using it in this way. That's fantastic, and it just so easy.
You can make these edits in the car as well, but it just cuts out the time lag. So because one person's thinking about it, and then the other driver's now typing it in. So there's that double handling. So I love the fact that I can just get in, I hit one button, and my route has started, and that might have been predefined yesterday. The other thing that's cool is you've noticed I've typed in Bondi Beach, Sydney Harbour Bridge, whatever it is. So often when we get orders, it'll be the company name at so-and-so address, but it might be an incorrect address. So Google will pre-validate that address. So I might type in, the company name, not the address, and then it'll actually validate that based on the Google listings. Because often, you got 20 orders or whatever, it might be the wrong name or a typo, or they missed a digit in the number on the street. So that's just another little thing that automatic validation of an address I find very beneficial. So all these little things that I didn't quite realize. And I feel embarrassed even saying that this is a balloon tip from a balloon probe. But
it's all free as well.
I wish someone told me that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Some of the greatest tips you ever get are so simple and free. And Google, I think, is amazing. But I've learned something today, so fantastic.
Good man.
So
all right.
That's tip number one.
Next
Excellent.
Good. Okay, so the other thing is an oldie but a goodie, and we call it canned responses. I'll just share this screen again for you. So here we are in our work email account. Now, actually, I'll just sort of talk about that a little bit. Let's stop the screen. We use Gmail and Google everything. So just to talk about it the way our shop runs, we have essentially two premises with a hole in between, two retail shops. Well, one we've converted as a workshop, and we have 4 computers in between both shops. We went from 12 staff down to 5. So it was back in the day, for the most part of our business, we've had 6-7 people in there and 4 computers, and there's a lot happening. And a casualized workforce too. Some of them are only 3 days a week. They'll start an email. They might not be in tomorrow. And so having specific email addresses for specific staff was a problem. We all needed to share the same resources. So a friend of mine once called it power using Google, where we have one account, just one Google account, and we log in on all 4 computers to the same account. And I log in on my phone as well. I've got my account, but I can also log into the work one. So the advantage of that is, I'll show you here. As you can see, I think you can see my mouse as I move it around. But emails get filtered into folders, and from those folders, we will filter it into staff, or perhaps a different purpose. So I can start an email at work, and I can finish it at home. Or one staff can write an email 4 years ago, and all that customer, hi, it's Catherine, you helped us with the Sydney University, and I've just typed in, while they're speaking, Catherine, Sydney University in the search. Right? As we all know, Google search is amazing, and they have the same technology for their Gmail. And then I've got that email with that invoice and all the correspondence with the reference photos from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6, 7, whatever. And it's all there, and I'm like, I remember that job. My memory's terrible, but now I'm pretending. You ordered, can you tell me what we ordered? We have a system where we can look it up, but it takes time. Bam, within 1 second, I've got all the email correspondence with this person or that person based on a few keywords. So we have orders coming in through different systems, online stores or whatever. It all comes through, filters through Gmail, and we can access just by typing an order number or anything. So, but that's not what I want to talk about.
Can I ask you a question, actually? Because
yes, sir.
If you're anything like us, you get communication. We always like to communicate with people however they like to communicate. So some people like to phone, some people like to email, some people Messenger, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, live chat, whatever it is. So you've got all these different things. So how do you deal with things like Messenger? So if somebody on Facebook Messenger, they send you a message, obviously that's not in your email. How do you deal with that? Is that just a completely separate thing?
Yeah. Well, look, let's just answer this question, and this whole chat really is from the hat of the Balloon Crew, which is my balloon business in Sydney, because there's obviously balloonpro.co and the teaching and all that other stuff, which I do message directly personally because it is intertwined with me and my brand and all that kind of stuff. But when it's the Balloon Crew, which is our business in Sydney, where my staff are also a part of the system, it's a whole nother kettle of fish. And I know a lot of us out there in this industry are sitting on the couch watching whatever, and ding, Instagram pops up, right? And now all of a sudden you're at work. Okay, and that's the last thing I want. Okay, especially since perhaps my staff have had some correspondence. I've got a team; they'll be in tomorrow. The whole point of having a business with staff is that 9 o'clock ding or 10 o'clock or midnight, right? I know all of us are agreeing, as soon as Instagram came along in particular, so many people are replying personally, and it's changed the way that consumers feel they can consume, because we are providing that level of service. And I blame Uber as well. Like Uber Eats, you can get whatever you want to eat in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. People expect that with their balloon bouquets, and it's really difficult to change that mindset as a supplier. So I know to answer your question, we don't reply out of hours on all of those mediums. I don't use Twitter and a few other mediums. We're mostly Facebook and Instagram, and it's wonderful that they're owned by Facebook, because one post will share it to both. We have some YouTube stuff, as you know, but that's more of a me thing. So we have a canned response, which I'm going to talk about. We'll talk about the Google Gmail canned response, and then what we have for Instagram. And we're simply we type hi space 3 letters, 3 characters, and a pre-typed response comes in, where it's feeding, channeling them to our email, because we decided as a business, our Gmail is very powerful. It's a wonderful tool for quotations, for referencing, and all the correspondence comes into the one channel and can be searched and referenced, and any staff member can jump in and know what to do and where to pick up and where we left off. It's great for attaching photos, and it's great for CCing other people. You can't do that with the other mediums. So unfortunately, we lose customers, I'm sure, by not replying late at night. We lose customers by asking them. They'll ask all these questions, and I'm sure everyone listening out there who's in the industry will know the last piece of information they will tell you is where it is. I want this and this, and I love that, and blah, 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 and reference 8 million photos. And they won't tell you when and where. I find it so silly.
Tomorrow, 150 miles away,
how many times do you call and go, can I get the butter chicken with rice, please? and do you ever do that? But people do that all the time with Instagram.
That's a good point.
Where do you want it and when? So exceptionally difficult. So there's 2 things that we're channeling with this response is we're asking all of those questions, but we also lead them to our Instagram, our website, and a form on our website. And I can show you that now, actually.
So can I just go back to the Messenger, the Instagram and the Facebook? So if people send you a message, you've got an autoresponder, is what it used to be called, I think. And that will suggest the best way to get in touch is by email.
Correct. Saying, it says on our website, no DMs. I don't know if, unfortunately with Instagram, I won't be able to screen share that with you.
No, don't worry. It's just
because it's on your phones.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can have a look at the_balloon_crew and like it while you.
Please like and share.
Yeah, follow us. But it'll say no DMs. But actually, I find that quite, an aggressive bit of language. Yeah. So I still don't know how to say that because people DM anyway.
Yeah.
So we're directing to this form is one of the things. And as you can see, I'd like a quote. There might be a number. So if we were to write an email quotation or a bit of information, I'm saying fill in this form and use this quote number. We'll give them whatever. Yeah. Just so that once again, when it comes to Gmail, we can search by that number. This form will come to our Gmail. Yep. So we're asking all that kind of stuff. What time does it start? What's the earliest time we can access to deliver? Yeah. And the language of that. What is the earliest? Not saying what time can we deliver, but what time does it start and what's the earliest? Because they're going to say, I want you to arrive at 4.
Yeah.
Okay. What time does it start? It starts at 7. Okay. Well, we've got 8 million deliveries at 4. What's the earliest we can? Oh, we can get it any day, any time, all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. Just cutting that out and going straight to the point. What's the earliest time we can access? Indoors, outdoors. We want to know that now. That'll help us recommend the right product. How long do they want it to last for? Just a few different things like that.
Yeah.
As just a bit of a first point of contact with our customers.
Yeah.
They don't always use it, but when they do, we're very appreciative. But back to Gmail here. So the thing that we've done for a while, but I just wanted to implore you all to have a look. It's actually an add-on to Gmail called Canned Response, which is essentially templates or draft emails. So just say the most common one is an invoice for a delivery, and it's saying, thanks for your order, here's your copy of your thing, and guarantees of float time, all that kind of stuff, payment before delivery, whatever. Other ones could be organic quotes, right? Yeah. We're quoting organics, blah, 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 blah. Here's the quotation form, right?
Yeah.
Fill that in.
Yeah.
Here's the reference. We'll type the reference. We're asking, we've got some links to, some colors and things like this. But that's all there. So because so often our website's really slow right now, but this is our little page on colors. And it's sort of a blog post actually. That then does reference our actual color page, which is a different thing. But anyway, so a million different things depending on your business. If it's a gift, if it's a pickup, we do a lot of balloon printing. So client proof and all the terms and conditions, everything is there. And I'm sure whatever your business is and does, you will find repetition, and God, this cuts it down. And also when you have new staff join your team, it's so easy for them to become a part of the system by having a system to follow, less chance of human error or missing things out.
And I guess us, Chris, you start with a template and then you would tweak it because if the customer has actually asked you a specific question, then you tweak it. So because there's nothing worse than asking specific questions and then getting a canned response. I hate that. But what we do, we that's a starting point, that canned response, that template. And almost every single email that we send is tweaked because everybody has their own individual requirements, their own individual questions. I guess you do exactly the same.
That invoice, we attach it. If it's already paid, we remove the part about payment terms. Just customize it as you need. But the drafts themselves we've tweaked over the years. Just started with something and kept adding to it. And so if you don't do that now, as automation as far as email, drafts, that's a quick one. It doesn't even have to be an app. It could be a Word document saved somewhere. You copy and paste, whatever it is. Or these little tips you can apply. Like Facebook has their own canned response for messaging, be it an automated email response straight away. But to me, that's a little mechanical. It does also have the ability to paste drafts as a part of your reply. So at least there's a human interaction where you've read it and you've applied the right response. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about quickly was we mentioned in our chat before that we do a lot of gifts, and the advent of organics and balloons becoming a lot more in vogue, and the beautiful Qualitex deco bubbles, vinyl cutting machines, confetti, all tassels, all of that thing. The product of the deco bubble customized is perfect because of course it was difficult to customized latex balloons from a longevity perspective. But Deco Bubbles being a little bit flatter, like a pillow, just created a perfect platform that is both elegant and beautiful, and you don't need me to upsell this.
Sorry,
so
Chris, I was
Deco
just laughing at you. If you scroll down a little bit where it says "you'll do,"
Yeah.
that's you know.
Oh, you like that? that was one of our Valentine's Day products, just as a bit of tongue in cheek. So
Love it.
Yeah, we've created a lot of stuff like, balloons that you pop and out come like happy birthday and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, just trying to be fun, trying to be a little bit more modern and risque. And so we created a whole bunch of range like that. But it was just a quality image for the samples that we had here.
Yeah.
So you can see this, the form, this is essentially a form where we have examples, and we're really, really simplifying the process, because I was spending so much time on talking to customers about the options, and they will send me, I don't like this font, I don't like that font. You know what? You've got 4 fonts to choose from. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And when you type what you want printed, you've got 3 lines to choose from. 1, 2, 3. And it's up to 12 characters. So the form that I've got here, it stops, right? I can't type any more than that.
Okay.
So it's simplifying in the sense of, I don't want people to have an entire essay on my form on the bubble. So we were spending half an hour on some of these customers umming and ahhing and shooting me examples and all the rest of it. But now I can't tell you, A, how much money we've saved by the time, right? But B, how many more of these we're selling because we've simplified the process for the customer. I think if the world is a canvas where they're just jumping on Instagram and seeing what they like, there's going to be a million photos and they get confused and perhaps by somebody else anyway. But I created this form 3 months ago, I think, a little bit late in the piece of COVID, but about 3 months ago, and I didn't even have a link on our website. It just got found somehow. And I had an order within 24 hours. And I tested it a little bit and tested a little more. And then I started putting a few more like backlinks and whatever. And we get about 4 a day that convert to at least maybe 4 or 5 inquiries that convert to 3 or 4 sales. And just to
all
go
automated,
back here,
so they just come through to you, and there's the order. Does that take them through to pay at the same time?
No.
Okay.
No. So we do have an online store, which is balloons.com.au, which is a different story, because that's an Australia-wide thing. But this here, you see, we say Sydney only. Right. But it is so simple. Right, it's not a part of the online store. There's no particular blocking automation in the sense that there's checkout and all the rest of it. We want to actually have the right of refusal. Right. What if we're too busy to even cut the vinyl and all the rest of it? And also we quote based on the delivery, because what if they say they want it by a certain time and everything? Through our other website, we do have automation, but here you can see they can add tassels, they can add this. So it does add actually the boxed or unboxed. It does add a total as they go through. You notice the price Australian dollars, but they're quite high. When I look around and see, like, if you got an unboxed, no tassel, no extra decals, and mind you, that little decal button, add a red heart or a name for $8. Pretty much everyone chooses a name, and it takes us an extra, 1 minute in total of work. Right, to have a name on the outside. Here we go, Roberto, right? And we're already using the vinyl. We've already got the extra scrap, and I just made $8 for 1 minute. It says little things by adding on, and I think this form could be triple in its customization and all of the extra little things that we add to it. And in fact, I could see an entire online business just dedicated to this kind of thing.
So that's quite a simple form. That's not actually showing you the balloon as you build it, does it? So this is just a very simple. These are the choices you've got. This is some examples at the top. You scroll down and you see, you pick this balloon, you pick this font. What do you want typing? And the other good thing, I guess, about that is they've put what you want, so what they want. So you've got that in writing effectively. Do people ever make mistakes and type the wrong name or spell it incorrectly or anything like that?
No. Not yet, but if they do, it's on them. You see, when we're taking it on the phone all the time, I was always worried that we would do something. So then I would have to do a print proof just to send it to them, and they'd come back. And so we charge, as you can see, $70 for a single balloon filled with 5-inch confetti or not. But that with the decal, and that's a lot of money. But like me personally, I don't know if I would necessarily be the kind of customer that would spend that kind of money on that thing, but there are a lot of people out there that do that.
Yeah.
And when you send a bouquet of flowers or a hamper or whatever, they're not personalized. Yeah, you might get a mug with someone's name on it, but that's kind of a bit weird. Who wants, like people love the idea of something that is short term, that's pretty, that's on trend, and to add that personalization, that personalized aspect to it, I think has just really transformed our product offering.
Absolutely.
And quite often we're adding these to, like, we'll sell a balloon bouquet, they want to get something personalized, we'll send them to this form, they can add that bit to it.
Yeah.
So we've already got the card on file or whatever. So many, even events that we're doing, sometimes they want table numbers, boom, we'll send it there, choose your font, choose your whatever, and we're using it in many different ways. So it's still developing and it's still fresh, and obviously it's not, there's so many other wonderful online businesses and stores and automation and blah, blah, blah. But I wanted to show you this because it's raw. Yeah. And I wanted to show you this because I did it myself, and many people can create a form. There's so many different technologies out there, like Google Forms, is a free one. Yeah. And you can have this on your website in an hour or two.
Yeah. And I think that's fantastic. And you can, what you put on there would vary depending on what's important to you and your business. So it might not be it could be personalization of the balloon, personalization of the box. When we started, we did balloon in a box. That's all we did. And you could add chocolates, you could add a teddy bear, you could add vouchers. We did theatre vouchers, so people could get vouchers to go to the theatre and stuff way back 16 years ago. So, and stuff like that. And it really helps increase your average order value. And I think that's something that people don't realize. These little things that you can add on, even if you make, well, like you say, a minute for vinyl, you're charging $8. What's it cost you? Probably, including your time, probably $2. And do
like
that.
I said, there's always a scrap of vinyl on your sheet that you can just pop it in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Can I just quickly ask you a question? Sorry, about, you said that you're quite expensive. We're seeing a lot over here of people saying, oh, I'm selling this at this price, which is reasonable, and somebody else locally has started selling them at £10 instead of £20 or whatever. And it's a real negative thing. A lot of people are really upset about that sort of thing. What's your advice to people when they experience that, would you say?
Well, I think many things about this. I always have had an innate something inside of me that has been embarrassed about expensive things, right? Even today, like I sell all the time, and we just had a job booked in for tomorrow for $3,000, and they've given us like 20 hours notice, right? And at times like that and like this, to me, it's not about me and my budget and my expectation on value and price and everything. It's theirs, and all I need to do, and all I think I've learned to do, is back my product and believe in the product, right, and put it on the table with this as A, B, and C, and they're the consumer and they can choose. I never push a customer in any direction. And what I find is, if I focus on quality and I put it at a price point that it deserves, okay. So when I said it's expensive, that's my innate me once again, and I'll even tell customers our letter balloons are probably the most expensive in Sydney. But you see, we install it and we set it up, and we'll have every letter parallel to the ground, and that includes our service. And here with our customized balloons, they're exceptional. Right. That we've got experience doing it. We use high quality vinyl, handmade tassels, and blah blah blah, bows and everything, and the attention to detail is second to none. So that's to me, we sell a service more than a product.
Absolutely.
So although I know it's a lot, I tell them why. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So because they can go to the dollar store and get numbers and whatever. And quite simply, I'm saying, well, it'll be all done for you, and I appreciate that. Like, you can. What annoys me the most is when people and are about a delivery price. I'm like, you can come and collect it, and they're like, I don't have time for that.
Okay, well, there you go.
What's your
time worth is really what you're asking there.
Exactly.
So
No, so with vinyl, I think so. Just to jump in with customized and vinyl decals, I see on social media people saying we do it for free. Or £5 or whatever, right? It's just an add-on. To me, it's not. Like, even with this system, it still might take 10 minutes to input that into Adobe or whatever it is. I'll load this actually while we're talking, because I'll show you that process if you like.
Yeah.
And cut it, pick it, apply it, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it may be. I like to think about our staff being charged out about $60 an hour. So boom, that's $15, $20 worth of my cost.
Yeah.
When I do a job, or my manager does, or my style, like higher end stylists, we $180 an hour. So that's another way of looking at what do other, and I know we're talking about Australian dollars, but what do other professionals charge as a professional? What does a plumber charge? What does a lawyer charge?
Yeah.
How niche is their industry and their business? So that's another way of thinking about it from a different direction. It's how long did it take you to develop these skills?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, while I'm thinking about it, I'll share you this.
Yeah, please do.
This is Adobe Illustrator. So quite simply, I have this, just a draft. Here we go. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So if we are typing something new, just, and they've chosen font 1, I just literally copy that and paste it in and start typing from there. Yeah. So this is the box that's set 28 by 28 centimeters, which is the size for our deco bubbles, with the borders and everything preset. So it's, once again, systems to help speed things along.
I think one of the things you said there about the pricing is key, and it's believing in your product, because if you're in our industry and you're a balloon professional, you're not selling a balloon on a string, which is what you get if you go into one of the retailers here, and well, they're closed at the moment, so that's great for our industry. But it's about adding the things, even if it's a collar on a bubble balloon, something like that. You don't get that, and people are trying to make you be cheaper, offering more, but it's not. You're not offering them the same thing. So I think pride and being confident in what it is that you are offering to these people is key. And if you come across with confidence, that's expensive. Well, no, not really. Yep. When you consider what you get this, you get that. And just by saying what you get implies that your competitor doesn't offer any of that. So it's just the way of framing it, I think.
We've rejigged our website, and so this is the homepage here.
Yeah.
So talking about confidence in selling, I can't stress enough about having a high quality, well-designed, clean, with beautiful images. So you can see the quality of these photos here of these products. It's all been whited out. There's companies online that you can pay for $1 or $2 to mask, it's called. I even created this video of a little walkthrough. It's a designer showcase. I appreciate people can't create their own videos, but you can pay people to do that. If you've got a bunch of videos on your phone, you can find someone out there. There's a little feed from our Instagram page. Yeah. But if you're going to charge a premium, you have to look like a business that offers a premium. Yeah. So you can't come on site with disheveled and with an old T-shirt and whatever and expect people to assume that you have a premium product. Yeah. Your shop can't be messy and the displays in the front. But if you're an online business, you have to have a website. Yeah. I say this every time I speak to someone. You have to have a website because you can control that so much more than you can any social media page. And it can be a true reflection of who you are in your business. And then all of your social media feeds to that. Just like our communication emails and everything, we want to feed people to our website, to that form or whatever it may be, so that they're at a medium that we approve of and we're happy with, we can control and control the narrative thereafter. So if we're asking people to spend double on that deco bubble than other people might pay, they will do it if they feel they trust us as a quality brand that won't let them down, that will deliver on time, yada yada yada. And that's just human nature. You think about a florist. Anyone can go to the markets and buy flowers and put them together. And I say this to our customers who might and ah about the cost of the arrangement, that there is such a difference between a beautiful arrangement of a bouquet of flowers in the way it's set and the disposition and everything, and the same methodology and pride needs to be taken about our balloon product.
I mean, you can sell somebody a bag of balloons if that's what they say it is. Just a bag of balloons inflated. Yeah, it is. I'll sell you that if you want it. But
here's a good story. If we've got time for it, really, really quickly. Someone called wanting to buy car yard balloons. The plastic PVC ones. Yeah. That sort of durable and outdoor.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's not even a balloon, right? On the stick.
Inflatable. And
Yep, sure. And an hour later, or maybe about 20 minutes of conversation, I'd booked in for us to do the job. And 2 weeks later, my balloons are featured on The Voice Australia on national TV, right, as a part of the backdrop for one of the songs.
Wow.
It was a production crew, and they're like, we're going to do it ourselves because that's what they do. And I just started talking to them, and we realized what's it for? And I asked them a few more questions. Oh, great, we've done similar clouds. They were trying to build a cloud. You don't want this balloon, you want that balloon, and there's this, and this. I'm like, you know what, we can do the whole thing. Nah. Okay, well, that's great, that's fine. We can still help you. Here's the price. But if we do it, we can come in and do this, this, and this. And all of a sudden, I just realized, you know what? We want the professional who can handle this. Because it's like he's posed all these different things. He's speaking with confidence. The price is certainly not necessarily a factor anymore. I think we're quite reasonable anyway, all things considered. I just love that as a story of we could just sell someone a bag of balloons. I will happily sell them a bag of balloons, but I will ask you a little bit more. I'm not going to push them aside because they're a cheapo. I'm gonna just inquire a little bit more and see how we can add a bit more value to that sale of balloons.
Yeah, that's the sales tip there. Just ask questions. I've been in sales seminars and they say just keep asking your customer the questions until they start to ask you questions, and that's when,
really?
It's a really interesting concept, but it's all about getting as much information so you can provide the best service you possibly can to somebody, and particularly for something the sort of stuff that you do and that so many people do in our industry. And that's what your form does to some extent. It's asking all those questions up front.
I was just going to say that it's just sort of putting that in a nice neat little package that in case our staff don't know exactly what questions are what, they're the common ones. 100%. We've never lost money with asking too many questions, especially about longevity and where and what, and I find as well, if you can pose a few questions, problems rather, then your customers will develop a rapport where they trust you, and even in that very first conversation, they start to realize that, hold on a tick, you are the knowledge base on this product, you are the professional in this industry. Maybe I should be asking you what you think.
Exactly.
And then you can just, perhaps direct them in an area that it might not have. To me, it's not about profit, and it's not about selling more stuff. It's about selling the right stuff.
Exactly.
And then you'll have a customer for life, hopefully.
Fantastic. Chris, I can talk to you for hours. Come on, what's next?
All right, last thing. What do we got? It's 10 o'clock. Now we are past 10 o'clock. All righty. So the last thing I wanted to show you was this is a huge COVID project of ours where we created design pages or production guides, rather, for a whole new range of balloon bouquets that we're producing. So I'll just sort of pop one up. This is in Google Drive. So once again, Google Drive is a cloud-based storage solution, I guess, and it's free unless we do pay for the upgrade. And it's loading images because I think we are live streaming this and the internet's slow. But essentially we created a template. I was saying, how I said at the start of this chat that we tried to maximize not just my time but my team's time. We had some wage subsidies and we had no work. So this is a wonderful use of our team where we were we had so many photos. In fact, I don't think we took pretty much any new photos, maybe a couple, but we had hundreds and hundreds and thousands. And the good ones, we would sort them and we'd cull them over a series of different criteria. So if I scroll down, you might even see, some of the individual photos. And then the good ones, we would decide what would to be regular products, and then we would send them off and batch them off and get them edited or masked as it was. And I'd actually did all the coloring personally, because some people overseas might not realize exactly the true color that it should be. So just beautiful quality photos, and we actually in our store have a white wall with a few light boxes. You might even be able to see it if I zoom in on this. You can see the
look at that.
That's our shop there, right?
Hey.
But so then we use those photos to create set products, and where we have production time, the height, float time, tips. So for inflating foils, click here, and that'll be a hyperlink to a YouTube video. And so on. So how do we do confetti and so on? the ingredients, with the item codes and all the rest of it. And so any of our staff, and in fact, I mentioned it before, we have an online business, which is balloons.com.au, like an interflora of balloons in Australia. So this is also, we kept in mind the fact that we have partners all around Australia who might be new. We'll have staff that might be new in our own team, and they can be in the shop by themselves, can load this document and have a pretty good understanding as towards the process. Now, it's normally a lot faster than this, but you can appreciate we're doing a lot on this internet at the same time. So yeah, this is something else I just wanted to share with you as what we did as far as systemizing internally for our team. And we used to have we still do in fact, called the Blue Book, which is a production guide of many different things, from columns to all kinds of sculptures, where the inflation sizes, because we have, I just showed you bouquets, we also have arches and candy canes and all kinds of stuff. But what I love about Google Drive is, what if we change the plan? Because I do that all the time. And we decide, maybe there'll be not so many layers, or we'll do this, that, or the other. So I can quickly load that same document and just add or remove or change the image. And I don't have to reprint and take the paper out of the book. That book gets lost, or one person's using it here. Or I want to edit it at home. So once again, using cloud-based technology, our production guide is here. We can search by item code. So each document has a code. I know it took a huge amount of time, but this is the sort of level that we can be using our time. It just depends how scalable your business is. If it's just you, I appreciate, might not be, but maybe there's other parts like this that you can help just to, provide that routine of information that's consistent for yourself and maybe then for the person.
Plus, you might not make something for 6 months, and it's like, how did I put that together last time? And
Tell me about it.
You've got it right there, and I think it's great. I think that was going to be a question for you, actually. But if it's just a one-person band, and they say, well, I don't need to have all those because I've not got a staff to manage or to share these with. But it is, like I say, it's still worthwhile doing if you've got the time, and if you've got enforced time, it's definitely a good time to do it. And you can just refer back to it in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, whatever it might be.
On that note, let me just quickly show you this. So here I am in Google Drive, and if I type like duplicate square pack, which, as we know, is a method of constructing walls and similar things. I've got a document here. I've got some things saved. But if I open this document, this is just a Google Drive Word document. This is my memory of sorts. Quite often, if I have time, I will actually, the job itself, I'll paste a photo, which is one loading now, and I will write down the inflation size, the quantities, and then also how big it was. I'll measure the finished piece, and then if I include that with this and other jobs that I've done, and this is just for me, right? My staff wouldn't be able to use this, but that's what you're saying. If you're a sole trader, you can still use similar things to this. I can load this from my phone on a job site, and I've got all this information. So if I want to create a ring, for instance, I think there's a separate page for different rings that I've created, and it'll say outer size this, inner size this, times 20, gave me a 1 meter diameter circle or whatever it is. And I might not need that for 3 more years when I'm on site creating another ring as a part of whatever it is, and I can just pull it up anywhere. This is actually the quickest form of creating systems that one can do, just jotting down notes, not on a piece of paper, but somewhere digitally that can be searched and easily accessed. Yeah, no, it's a great tip. The other thing I always think as well is do something like that. Like, we're doing something similar. When you came down last year, I told you about System Hub, which is something we're using, not as much and consistently as we should be in the last 7 months, but it's trying to put all our systems down. And the reason I do that is imagine that we are much bigger than we are, which hopefully, most businesses want to grow. And if that's the case, just think of, well, not what you need now, but what you're going to need in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. And so
I try and have that mindset with everything, and it's quite difficult sometimes because you don't know what the future holds. But it's not a bad practice either, because
I think a lot of people have the time now to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Chris,
not you though. I hear you're very busy.
we are quite busy, as are everybody in our industry over here. But it's good to talk to you. It's really nice, and I love to hear
I really appreciate
your tips, and they're always so simple. That's the thing. Everything you talk about. None of it is ever difficult to do, is it?
I should say, for all the listeners at home, Greg did ask me to get in the shop and do something with my hands and inflate, because that's what everyone wants. So I do apologize. It was my fault, not Greg's. I insisted we do something like this because I'm very passionate about these systems.
Yeah. Well, maybe another time, Chris, we could do something like that. But
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I'd love to. Yeah. To me, I think, I haven't done the stats, but I would say we spend 70-80% of our time behind computers, invoicing, quoting, forgetting, trying to remember. And if we can, to me, that's where we make our profit, or have a successful business or not. I think it should be expected that we have a high-end product, and we learn and we go to conventions, and to me that's a natural course of things. But the one thing I think we all, some of us, leave off because we don't deem it important enough, is to teach ourselves and to upskill in the back of house things, and having an open mind. And I've had lots of great chats with you about your business and the behind the scenes, and I implore everybody to chat to friends and colleagues and see how they do it, because there's always a better way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chris, as you know, as a guest on BMTV, you get to ask the question of the week. So I'm going to hope that you've got one prepared or in mind. So,
very good. Thank you,
What
sir.
would you like to ask?
I really want to make a joke right now. Okay, question of the week. Let's be serious.
Doesn't have to be serious.
Okay. Well, it doesn't have to be. No, let's be serious. So talking about the passion of systems and all the rest of it. Question of the week that everyone they write in, they type in, don't they, to the comments section of this video? Yes. If you could, is it a question if we ask people to share a system that's simple, that is accessible, that really works for them? Okay. I think that's it. Yeah. That's something we can ask, can't it?
Absolutely. I
would love to read those notes. What's a simple, accessible system
that you use? That
maybe let's confine it that you have found during COVID, or found to be most useful during COVID.
Okay.
And if you could share that with us, I'd love to read it.
Yeah, no, me too. That'd be great. Chris, thank you so very, very much for this. I really appreciate your time.
Greg.
So late at night as well. So thank you so much.
I've got 4 digital renders to do tonight for a big shopping centre.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, you better get on with that, and good luck with it.
But I would not do this for anything else. I've really enjoyed it, and thanks for the opportunity.
No, thank you. And thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks. Bye.